Welcome back to Switch to Linux. It is Monday and it's time for another Linux Top 5. And what we're going to be looking at today is the Top 5 OBS Studio tips. This is basically how I get some of my setup done as far as the software end for live streaming. And I am using version 21.1.0 on Linux, obviously, Linux Mint. As you can see from the desktop background here, this is Linux Mint Cinnamon. And so what we're going to look at here is how to get this kind of set up by using the top 5 to look at the top 5 tips and features. So number 5, we're going to look at profiles and collections. These are a little bit different. You get them up in the profile and the scene selection. Now profiles I don't actually use as much just because I don't have a lot of need. What the profiles will do is change your settings. So these change all of the different settings inside here. So all the different things that you've used to set your system up, you can go ahead and make those changes, and then you can pull down the profile and it will save and adjust your settings accordingly. Scene selection does the same thing but for scenes. So I do use multiple different settings. Now if I switch this over to green, it's going to change my settings over to the green screen. I'm not going to do that. And the reason is, in order to be recording this, which I'm recording it with Simple Screen Recorder so I can show you how OBS works, Simple Screen Recorder is utilizing my Samson mic right now, and what you see is my Meteor mic is actually pulling in audio from the camera. And I did this just to show you could see what it is. It just kind of simulates what it should look like on your end. So I'm not going to change scene selection because it will cause my system to crash. Well, not my system. It'll cause Simple Screen Recorder and OBS both to crash because they're both going to grab for that Samson Meteor mic simultaneously, and that's, you know, not really accepted. So we're not going to change those, but that's what your scene selections do, is it changes your scenes so you can have completely different ones. And eventually I'll rebuild my top 5 scenes, which is what I use to record the top 5 on OBS itself. And that top 5 is it's going to have a different view, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in which case it's going to show me all of my banners, which are pre-created when I do these top 5s. Number 4 is your transitions. Now what you are seeing here in my view is you see the 2 cameras. You see this one here, which is my C920, and over here this is my C615. So this is in studio mode setup. So the one that is on the right would actually be the one recording. The one that is on the left is the staging one. So I can make any adjustments over here. It makes any changes and then go ahead and moves that. So if I want to become part of the kitty cam, whoa, it's a kitty cam, yo. So that's kind of what happens there. Then I could probably look into that camera because now that's the primary camera. And so the way you're doing your transitions, but what I want to talk about as far as this is how we do the transitions. I usually just kind of have it as a fade. So if I transition between them, it kind of fades back and forth. There's also a cut option, which is just a simple cut. But there's a variety of different things that you can put in here and various settings for each one of these. So this one here is that. I might actually put some more of these guys on here. So here we do something like maybe a slide. And then we can pick the directions up, down, left, right, maybe up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, start. I don't know. Let's just go ahead and do a slide down, and do a transition now. I think I did not get that transition right. There you go. Now we're transitioned right. So you see how that just kind of transitions down. Boom, boom. That's kind of cool. I like that one. That's neat. I might think about using those. But anyway, we also have fade to colors. There's a wipe. I think the one wipe is what I have. I'm not sure what fade to color is going to do. Let's just see what happens when I fade to color. Whoa, that's kind of cool. So it kind of gives me that. So if I come over here and do my settings, then my color, let's just go ahead and select, maybe we'll select something like this. Kitty, what color should I select? Yeah? Oh, Kitty's coming up to say hi. Hello, everybody's. Yeah, now you can sit on the desk if you want. Kitty's trying to sit on the desk earlier. You can only do that when I'm recording videos. So there you go. All right, so let's go ahead and just pick something that's kind of orangey like that. And we'll save that. And now that should actually transition that with an orange color in between. So that's kind of how your transitions work. So setting up your transitions is a good way to move between your various slides. Number 3 is filters. Some of the things that you will notice on the filters. First, on this camera view here, you see that there is this nice fade-in effect. And actually, if I put in a video or an image or something behind that, I could actually get a little bit of movement around that black setup simply by going to my main picture view and adding something. Maybe, for example, let's go ahead and add a media source. Let's just do, let's do distro. Let's do website video, actually. Now, if I transition over, of course, the video is the very first thing. We don't want it there. We want that on the bottom. So now if I transition, now I have a nice faint glow behind the camera. Those effects are set up by using your filters. Additionally, your green screen is set up with filters. So if I go over here and click, for example, my camera and right-click it, I will find my filters tab. So you'll see that at my filters, I have a color correction, I have a border, and I have a sharpen. The border is actually what is giving me the faded. So if I actually click on the eye here and hide it, you'll see that it immediately goes back to the sharp borders. Likewise, the sharpen will adjust the camera sharpness, and then I have a color correction which will adjust how the coloration looks. So the filters look, you just add the filter that you want to add from a variety of different items here, and then you can select your options. So here I can adjust it really low, really high, so you can make those adjustments accordingly. And of course you might want to figure out whether you want to get these adjusted and just for your lighting situation. So here's, oversaturated and black and white, So you have a variety of different things that you can pick from here. Really does a good job of making sure the colors are pretty good. Let me put that right back at 0. That's what I'm going to do. And of course, your opacity, you can become transparent. One with the ether. All right. But anyway, those are how your filters work. A variety of different filters, and different filters will behave differently for different things. For example, your audio will have a variety of different things. If you, for example, select your audio, grab filters. We have compressor, gain, noise gain, and suppression. Different other things will have different things like chroma keys. For example, you can download some videos that, or like video clips developed for green screening, so you can do stuff like that. So that's kind of how your filters work. Next is number 2 is your hotkeys. So the way your hotkeys work, of course these are pretty basic items here on the hotkeys, but the way your hotkeys work is you can decide how you want things to be set. As far as starting, stopping streaming, you can do transitions, you can do flip through screens. So one thing that some people will do is get an external keypad, or maybe I might set up my keypad on my computer with a variety of different things. So I could do a start or a stop stream. I could do a transition to scene. I should be able to do. I should also be able to do some things like select an individual scene. So if I want to always have a hotkey, for example, of maybe my feed the kitty screen, I could actually set a hotkey for picking each screen. So switching to the screen here, if I pick, for example, the #/divide, then what that's actually going to do is anytime I click that on the number pad, it'll automatically queue up my transition key to that particular slide. So no matter where I happen to be, I can quickly pick the slides just by clicking on the key there. So that's how that works. Your various hotkeys, you can set one for each of your individual scenes. You can also set them for your basic functions like your transitions, stuff like that. So just kind of to figure out everything that you want to do and adjust your hotkeys to whatever works best for your system. All right, so our number 1 option is the audio. I had to re-record this portion because one of the reasons you don't see a ton of OBS tutorials is it's really hard to record with OBS when you're actually doing everything else. So right now you can kind of see I'm kind of in the full screen view. What I need to do is come back to this view, and I think that's going to give us kind of what we had there. I'm actually going to change this to my slide transition. Let me test my sliding out. All right, good. So now we're on our sliding transition. We'll probably do that for a while. So anyway, let me fix my collar too. There we go. All right, so our number one is our audio settings. I'm going to show you as much as I possibly can over here. Now, one of the things that a lot of people were asking for and was finally input into the Linux version, Windows had this for a while. I don't remember where Mac was, but it had the ability to monitor your audio out. So to do that, you just want to pull your arrow down here under Advanced Settings. And I'm going to try not to mess with any of these because it could give me some unwanted results when I'm doing this. But anyway, under your audio monitoring now, clicking on the gear next to any audio file, go down to your advanced audio properties. You can also find it up here in the edit advanced audio properties. And then over here we have some options to monitor only. So I'm going to click this and it's going to mute the sound. Okay, so I just said the sound should be muted, although it looks like at the screen it was still going. And then we also have the option to monitor and output. What this is going to do is it's going to send whatever is recording through this line out through the speaker system so you can actually hear it. And if I actually do that, it should, and I can actually hear myself, so it's kind of giving me a little bit of a feedback. You may or may not be able to hear that. I can hear it pretty good if I turn up my speakers. Now, the one place you have to be really careful using the monitoring option is it is very possible to go inside your settings here and to enable your desktop audio. So I'm going to go ahead and enable that, and then what you're going to see is these are mirroring each other, and you should hear in the video an echo. If you're getting that type of echo, it means that you are monitoring your output and recording to your desktop. So if I turn monitoring off, that should get rid of the desktop audio. But the other thing to watch out for is if you happen to have something set on your desktop audio. For example, if I go to my sound settings and I go ahead and select anything, so like here I will select this. Depending on how your setting is, you might actually get one of these items giving you audio sound out of your desktop. If that happens to be the case, then the best thing to do is just kind of mute everything. In fact, that might actually be, it's down pretty low. But basically what you don't want to happen is you don't want an input to be feeding onto your desktop audio simultaneously. And different things would cause that to happen. It's pretty rare, but just in the event if you're getting extra echoing or extra things, you could turn off the desktop audio altogether if you're not using it. That's probably the best thing to do. In fact, that's kind of how I like to keep it. And that way I don't get any echoes or anything like that. So now we're just down to our basic meteor mic and our basic setup system, and hopefully that is a beneficial thing. So thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can check out switch2linux.com/support. I have all the various ways you can help support the channel listed right there. There are Amazon links down below and on that page. You can check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/TomM. And you can also get things like t-shirts, mouse pads, travel mugs, coffee cups, and a few other miscellaneous items. Like I have a nice shopping bag as well at shop.switch2linux.com. So thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.